Hey y'all, so this is my Real Housewives of New York review. Shout out to those of you who have not given up on the show and will continue to watch it until the season is out. I understand that some people have said it's the worst season ever. I think the jury's out on that, but I don't mind the season so far. It could be better, but yeah, I'm not giving up on it. This is like one of my top 3 franchises, okay? Like, Real Housewives of New York and Atlanta are in trouble right now, as y'all heard in the news. So yeah, hopefully the next season, everything will be course corrected. But anywho, let's get into this episode. So we left off on a to be continued from last week, and we see that 3 of the ladies left the seating area because the topic of who's aligned with white supremacy came up. We see Ramona telling Sonia on the side that she just wants to have a fun conversation. She wants to get away from that. The serious topics are going to give her a nervous breakdown. Talk about white fragility. Yeah, all those serious topics are going to give her a nervous breakdown. As for the ladies that stayed in the area, Brishown, Ebony, and Leah, they're both trying to tell Ebony that maybe you shouldn't try to get through to Ramona because she's a lost cause. Brishown is telling Ebony to know your audience, and do you really think you're going to change Ramona Singer? Ramona is like 64, 65. I doubt it. But Ebony's just saying that she will not allow Ramona to just change the topic just because she don't want to hear it. Meanwhile, we go back to Sonia talking to Ramona, and Sonia's actually giving Ebony credit, for bringing up these topics and saying that she's learning from her. And Ramona doesn't want to hear that, so Ramona tries to change the conversation. Oh, well, tell me about the matchmaker. Tell me about the matchmaker. Sonia is not letting Ramona do that. And she continues talking. And Ramona tries it again, but then we see Luann come up and join Ramona and trying to shut Sonia down about what she's talking about. And I appreciate seeing Sonia stand up to Luann and Ramona and not allowing them to just run over her. I especially love it when she dismisses Luann as Luann walks off. She's like, okay, you can go, and continues to talk to Ramona. I really am shocked and a little pleased to see that Sonia is the one that's actually getting it. Ebony is still trying to make her peace about the conversation. Luann goes back in the seating area, and I think she's just nodding her head to Ebony just to get her to stop talking. I don't think Luann is listening to her at all. But yeah, they all leave from this area now and head to the dinner table. It feels like the mood has all been reset. Now, Ebony tells all the ladies that she wants to tell them something, and before she even gets to say it, Leah just bursts into tears, and everyone's just looking like, what does it have to do with? Like, why is Leah crying? And I gotta say, it was a little awkward seeing Leah cry without any tears coming out, but I'm sure it was genuine. Anywho, Ebony wanted to let the ladies know that her grandmother passed that morning. And it's nice to see that they all just went over to comfort her. Ebony also decides that she wants to get a tattoo commemorating the memory of her grandmother. It seems like Ebony and Leah, they're the only ones in the group that are going to get tattoos. Meanwhile, it looks like some of the ladies are getting tipsier and tipsier, particularly Brishown and Sonia. They're having a conversation with Ramona, and Sonia's kind of unfairly judging tattoos, and Brishown is giving her a little pushback, and Sonia's getting real spicy right now with Brishown. What Sonia said about tattoos, though, was extremely judgmental and ignorant. And geez, Sonia just said, F you, Brishown. Oh Lord, here we go. We're gonna get crazy Sonia, and we all know what to expect. So we're back with the ladies getting tattoos. I see Ebony's tattoo, I'm like, boo. She got like one of those white tattoos, like you can barely see it. She's holding it up, I'm like, girl, I can't see that. I think it was a cop-out. I think she could have like got some dark ink to put her grandmother's name on there. So it's the next day and all the ladies are doing their morning routines. Pretty funny scene. Leah talking to Ramona on the phone. Ramona is literally talking her head off right now, and Leah's just over it, rolling her eyes. And she hangs up and calls Sonia, and she was talking about how Ramona was giving her a spinning headache when she didn't know that Sonia and Ramona are sharing a room and she was on speakerphone. And then we hear Ramona say, I'm right next to Sonia, you bitch. How did I give you a headache? Very embarrassing. It's kind of like the equivalent of sending a text message talking about somebody and then sending it to that person. Meanwhile, we see Ebony going into Brishown's room, and they're having a black girl conversation about what transpired the other evening. And of course, Brishown, she's gonna be more laid back and said like, I can kind of understand like where you're coming from and where they're coming from because, it can come off a little preachy or teachy, the whole Malcolm X thing. She really compared her to Malcolm X. I really would compare Ebony to like an Amanda Seales or an Angela Rye, just calling everything out and being very militant with their blackness. Like I remember when I used to work with Amanda and we would be at these networks and stuff and I would see how like, her interaction with these people who were trying to make her feel small, she would not let it happen. And I admire her for that. But anyway, I see Brishown's perspective in saying that these ladies don't want to be preached to. They want like a friend first and of course check them, but teach them at every single moment, it can be exhausting. Like, both of these women have different perspectives. And I can also see why Brishown has a more laid-back approach. This woman has survived terminal cancer, stage 4. And I would imagine after that, you have a whole new lease on life and you just look at life differently. Like, you don't sweat all of the small things and you might let a couple things slide. She just wants to live her life, so I get that. After this conversation, Ebony was like, yes, it's all done. We can kiki. For now. And then Brishown's like, yeah, the next should be Langston Hughes. We see Sonya trying to discuss it with Ramona as they're chilling in bed. And again, anytime Sonya says something nice about Ebony or she's learning from her, Ramona tries to quickly change the conversation. And she did it successfully this time. She was like, oh yeah, your eyebrows, Sonya, your eyebrows are so nice. Like, where'd you get it done? I'm like, oh Lord, here she go. So all the ladies are downstairs now in the lobby and they're headed to the activity for the day, which is going to a Salem museum. This might be a Best Fiends scene for me. Now, when they get to the venue, I'm guessing the employees want them to immerse themselves in the experience and want them to put on these dirty, like, Puritan clothes they have laid out for them. Immediately, Luann and Ramon are like, I'm not wearing that. And I think they just go walk off to the bathroom. Of course, Leah feels she has to do it because she planned this event. Sonya's gonna go along with it. And Ebony, who's pretty on brand, says she's not gonna wear the colonizer's uniform. Of course Ebony says that. Now I'm looking at this right now, I'm just wondering, where is the history? They're just looking at some rundown old cabins in somebody's backyard right now. Luann and Ramona are over it, as am I. So Sonya and Brishown are talking, and Sonya's just telling her about her background and saying like how she was divorced, she was married to the bank, how she was taking water pills. She don't really get drunk, it's the water pills that's doing that to her. And Ebony and Leah are just looking on saying, here she go again, talking about this, her insecurities. Now it looks like they're talking shit about her, but I think they're coming from a genuine place. They're saying, here she goes in this Sonya cycle again. We gotta break her out of it. I feel like Leah and Ebony are trying to fix Sonya. Well, I shouldn't say fix. I think they're trying to just help her gain some self-esteem and help her realize that she's a bad bitch. I think they're also in agreement that Sonya abuses alcohol. A lot of these cast members abuse alcohol in this show. You have like 4 at the moment. You had Dorinda, you had Luann, Leah, Sonya. That's why last season was like such turmoil, because you had all 4 of them being a hot mess. After this waste of time activity, it's later in the evening. The ladies are getting dressed to go to dinner. We see Sonya going into Ramona's room and oh my God. Oh my God, like Sonya walks into Ramona's room. She yells, Jesus Christ, walks out, brings Ramona in and shows her that Ramona had a little accident on the floor. Apparently, like, she shit herself or she missed the toilet. I don't know what happened, but I did not need the cameraman to zoom in on shit. I really did not need to see that. Normally on reality shows, they blur that stuff out. Like, I remember way back when, y'all remember Flavor of Love? I can't remember who shit up the stairs. Somebody did that. I think it was, who was it? Was it Hottie? I don't know who it was, but they blurred that stuff out. So I'm not sure why they did this here. And what is it with these women and controlling their bowel movements? Like, I think another instance happened another season where they like shit on the floor at like some hotel or something like that. And no, Ramona did not say that was makeup. She did not. She said it was makeup. She goes into that bathroom and shuts the door. Girl, you know what that was. What also shocked me was that she didn't look that embarrassed either. I would be mortified. I would be mortified. I would be begging, pleading with producers to not use that footage. So the ladies all leave to dinner. They're headed to this Italian spot. They're seated and some time goes on and Brishown just says out of the blue, "Y'all are boring." And I'm just like, where did this come from? Like, Brishown was so nice for the past few episodes. I'm wondering, where did this 180 shift come from? It just seems so out of character. And not only did she call them boring, she called them grandmas too. And I'm guessing she was looking at Luann and Sonya's direction when she said this. Now, of course, they get offended, and now they're going back and forth. And I can honestly say, when this happened, this is when the episode took a strange turn. Brishown is telling the women that she was told that this is a girls' trip. Why isn't anybody turning up? Like, Ramona said this was going to be a good time. Ramona just sitting there looking embarrassed now. Sonya is definitely riled up right now, and her and Brishown are going at it, like yelling at each other. And Brishown is doing this wild interpretation of Ramona doing twerk, 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 and then proceeds to call her a clown. Which everyone is taken aback now. And I'm just thinking to myself watching this, is this a real argument right now? Are they for real? The production whispering Brishown's ear saying, okay, you gotta turn this up. The women are really boring, do something. Like, it seems like Brishown is now getting her entertainment out of pissing the women off. Ramona then tries to lighten the mood and get everyone's attention off of Brishown and proceeds to dance on top of a table. And luckily for them, like, it looks like they just rented out a restaurant, or at least the back area, and it's just the 6 of them. So she's not making a complete idiot of herself in front of people. Wow, I'm looking at this food come out, and it looks so basic and bland. Brishown is now being extra messy by bringing Leah into the conversation and telling her that someone at the table has been dissing her. And she's being all coy with it right now, not telling her exactly who said it, and it's pissing Leah off right now. And Leah is getting up and now she's threatening to leave. And Brishown's big reveal to Leah was that Ramona told her that her and Leah don't seem to connect that well. That's it? I don't know, like, something is going on. I'm very disappointed so far with Brishown's behavior. Like, she doesn't have to act like this. I was already, like, feeling her. Now, I don't know who this person is. I bet Ebony is just glad the attention isn't on her for once. So now Leah, Ebony, and Luann, they all leave, and we see Ramona, Sonya, and Brishown still in the restaurant. Sonya and Brishown are still arguing back and forth. They're getting drunker and drunker at this point. I'm confused because I still don't know what the fuck is going on right now or what I'm watching. And now we see the 3 of them outside, and they're both fussing at Brishown right now. Ramona is like, you messed up, you're embarrassing me. Clearly, Ramona does not know this woman and just brought Brishown on the show to piss Leah off to say, oh, well, I have a black friend too. Sonya goes back inside for her glass of wine, brings it outside, and then proceeds to down this whole glass of wine through her face mask. And she did not get one drop on her. Not one. Now, I gotta say, that was impressive, but it's also signs that you're an alcoholic, sweetheart. Whew, I am so confused right now, y'all. This might be a short review because this is kind of like a nothing-ass episode. It just gets more and more chaotic. So the ladies all get back to the hotel. They're in this basement bar. Brishown joins the other 3 that left earlier, and Leah really isn't having it with Brishown. She's saying that she's coming with BS right now, that she wasn't drunk initially when she started the shit at the table. And I gotta agree, like, it just came off really contrived and let me just shake the table or start some shit right now. Ramona and Sonya then get to the basement too to join the other ladies. Sonya is wasted. She's wasted now. The topic is now all the ladies holding Brishown's behavior accountable. Brishown is kind of drunkenly defending herself, but then she calls Sonya not only a clown, but a hoe too. And the ladies are like, whoa, like, you getting out of pocket right now. Don't call her a hoe. You don't even know her like that to call her a hoe. And meanwhile, while that's going on, you have Leah and Ramona having like a heart-to-heart conversation about why they don't connect. At this point, like, my hands are up. I don't know what's going on right now. We get to Brishon and Sonia still arguing with each other. I'm like, can they separate these two? Can they put them on two different sides of the room right now? Because they're getting really close in each other's face. Sonia then calls Brishon a bitch to her face, and it's getting extra spicy right now. They're getting closer to each other's face. The hands are going like this. It's not looking good right now. I'm also side-eyeing Sonia right now for not realizing she told a black woman that she's gonna let her hang herself. Like, just the optics on that. Did anybody catch that as well? I was a little uncomfortable hearing that. And now it's just them yelling at each other. I can't even make out the words. They're just really loud. Brishon then gets up out her seat and rushes to Sonia's face, and then that's when it fades to black, to be continued. Y'all, this was a weird-ass episode, especially off the heels of the article saying that last week was their lowest-rated episode ever. So yeah, I'm nervous that this series is in trouble, y'all. I'm guessing Brishon is doing her job in creating some type of conflict, but it just felt really forced. I really don't know what I watched just now. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this episode. What do we think about Brishon? I did like her. Hopefully she gains her senses back in the next episode. With that said, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all for Beverly Hills. Bye.